Good afternoon, gentlemen, and a few of you ladies that may be listening. This is Spiritual Art of War, back at it again with another episode. And this time we're going to talk about, just to you gentlemen that are listening, and maybe a few of you ladies, to beware of, getting yourself entangled in the rat race, comparing your situation and your life to other people, okay? That's actually kind of what drives a lot of people to, try and, get rich or die trying, is all this vanity, the trying to show off, trying to show that you're better than another person, when really at the end of the day, most people wouldn't care. Look what happened with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was the most famous person on the planet when I was growing up, and really probably that, you could say technically, at least until the Messiah come back, ever. Because he was the most well-known, recognized person on the planet. He had all that wealth, and it's been, all that wealth that he had, yet he was being hit with all kind of lawsuits. He was getting hit with all kind of accusations. And he, even in his last days, he was trying to do that This Is It concert because he wanted to make money to pay off some debtors because he didn't want to sell his catalog. Okay, so it even shows you that when you start to obtain things at various levels, that there's somebody that will envy you, and you can never change if somebody envies you. I mean, someone can envy you for any reason, for what you have tangibly or intangibly. So, but what I'm talking about is putting yourself through unnecessary strain, unnecessary headaches because of desiring to be viewed as a successful person or to be liked. Okay, because you only owe it to yourself and to your loved ones to provide for them. Outside of that, showing off, it's not gonna help you with anybody else. Okay, and I'm saying this because even for men especially, and I've said this before, if you end up getting a woman, and you want to be this like single earner type individual, cool, if you're capable of doing it. But I'm gonna tell you this: I've seen men be the primary breadwinner and their wives disrespect them. Like, I've seen that, bro. And I'm not talking about like in passing. I'm talking about knowing people who were making all the money, paying all the bills, and their wives don't treat them right, bro. Their wives is cheating on them. Their wives is disrespecting them, talking down on them. They'll make a show in front of the public as if everything is good, but that man is suffering. Okay, that man gotta hide. He gotta hide to go and do what he want to do because she wants everything outside of work has to be on her schedule. I've seen men living like that. They can't even go watch a movie, a Marvel movie that they want, because if he's doing it away from her, she don't like the fact that he's enjoying himself. So everybody is out here telling you to go and make all this money and basically become, a certified trick, okay? What they call a husband, a legal husband. Listen, husband is all about, don't let these people tell you what a husband is. People tell you husband is being legally married. Let me tell you right now, Cardi B and Offset are currently legally married, and she's pregnant with Stephon Diggs' baby, allegedly. And if I'm Stephon Diggs, he better do a freaking paternity test. Okay, because they broke up and they've been on and off, and they broke up and had a war of words the last few months. So these people will tell you, oh, you gotta get legally married. That's what makes you a husband. That means you're serious. If that's the case, how is the woman still legally married to a man, not even officially divorced, and she's pregnant, and it's no big deal? And then if you if these modern women, you bring this up to this modern woman, like, oh, they broke up and he was cheating anyway, yada, 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 But I'm talking about the legality of what they're trying to promote with you. to make you feel like you got to be validate. Forget what these people think. Forget what your mama think. Forget what your daddy think. Because he might be a simp too. Okay? And he might be trying to set you up for failure. You know what I'm saying? You got people out here that they want you to be in the same predicament as you, bro. I've actually heard even especially mothers, because fathers are a little bit different when it comes to like suffering. Like if your father went through a divorce, he's not gonna want you to go through the same thing. But like if your mother, if a girl had like issues in a relationship with her mom, and her mom did not have a good relationship with the father, she's damn near gonna hope that her daughter goes through the same thing. Oh, you're gonna see how hard it is. You think it's easy raising you? Wait till you get a man. When you get a man like your father and he's gonna treat you the way he treated me, then you'll know what I went through. So a lot of times they want you to learn the lesson that they went through. You know what I'm saying? See, a real man wants you as a younger man to not go through what they went through or go through what they seen. You know, this is one of the things that happens in the barbershop talks, man. That's why it's good that when you go to the barbershop, you have opposing opinions. You have one man, he kind of blue-pilled, or he kind of looked at things a certain way. For example, you might have a guy in the barbershop, he's happily married. He's been with his wife since they were 15 years old. They took it, they were both their first ones, and they stayed together. Now, he's telling you how great marriage is, but the girl that you're talking to, she done been bust down. She done been a stripper. She done been a pole dancer. Now she's talking about she a born-again Christian, and you're thinking that she really like you, but really she's 30 years old, just looking for a retirement plan. And you can't tell. So, yeah, the guy that's, been with his high school sweetheart for 25 years, and he met her at 15, and they still rocking and rolling. He cut hair, and she, work as a receptionist somewhere. Yeah, they probably doing fantastic. They probably enjoy each other's company because they're so united as one. A lot of that is really like the oneness that occurs with identity. That's a whole other ball game. I might have to kind of address that in another video. But that's why that stuff be working so well. Remember, I told you that the best relationships with a woman is going to be a woman that is younger, that's less experienced when she met the man that she ended up being with. Those are always the happiest women. And it doesn't matter what age that guy. That guy could be the same age as her or 25 years older. You know what I'm saying? As long as she only feels connected to that man and she hadn't been connecting herself to other men, it's probably going to be a very good relationship. You know what I'm saying? There is a dynamic of it that could be bad, but listen to these people. That's why I said, it's even with everything else. The hamster race, the wheel, even you, your decisions and who you would want to be with. I tell a lot of older men, y'all guys, you men are scared of getting with younger women because you don't want to be called a pedophile. You don't want these black women to dog you and talk down on you, especially in the social media age. You know what I'm saying? You actually worry about what they think, bro. Some of you guys are actually in a position to probably scoop you a young tender. And you don't want to because you're thinking about the backlash. Or you one of them guys, man, my girl, she got to be able to talk to me. I got to be able to have a deep conversation with her. Bro, these women older ain't deep. They're not deep. If anything, the stuff that they learn that you think they're deep on is just jargon. They out here sounding like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. That's what it is. You think they're deep because they're holding a conversation for an hour when you watch them on a podcast. Them chicks don't be knowing nothing. They be contradicting like all the time. You know what I'm saying? Contradicting all the time. So yeah, when you look at the situation of your own, man, don't be looking at situations and being like, man, I gotta be on this level, that level. Man, I told you guys, man, the new high value man is a guy that just got his own place, furnished, stocked refrigerator, a means of transportation, you know what I'm saying, and a steady income coming in. These guys flexing on the gram, bro, they're flexing, most of their flexing days is coming up, man. A lot of these guys was PPP in the game, if you know what I mean, that when the PPP loan, some of these guys are getting their money through other ways. Yeah, some of these guys are getting money legitimately. Don't get it twisted. But you got to remember, man, this is a country of 350 million people. okay, or getting close to 350 million people. And you gotta remember also, this is an industrialized country, what they call a quote unquote first world, which really it isn't. America's really a second world country. It's actually kind of always been a second world country. You know what I'm saying? Truth be told, because the thing about it, in a first world, you don't have ghettos. You might have working class neighborhoods, but you don't have ghettos riddled with crime and drugs. Which drugs are brought, and then this is drugs that are brought in by your actual government. That's the cold part. You want to talk about first world country? You look at places like Switzerland. You know what I'm saying? If you've ever traveled, I've actually been to Switzerland, but just through the airport. I really could have done a layover. I got in late. One of a very interesting experience I had at Switzerland airport in Zurich. Bro, just from me being in the airport and seeing how they roll, I'm like, bro, this is not the same. And mind you, they had a lot of black people that were working at the airport too. They spoke like 4 languages. It was crazy. This is in Zurich. That's why if you watch these like world championship track meets right now, a lot of their athletes are like, black people that were migrated there or and were born there, like their parents migrated there and they're born there, or like they're like biracial. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm watching the little world championships of track right now, and I seen like them running. I think one of the girls, her and her sister are like big time sprinters over there. Their dad is like from Congo. Their mom is like I think from one of these other European countries. I don't know if she's Swiss. And she just won like a championship for one of the sprinting. I think it was 100-meter hurdles. So yeah, America's not what you think it is outside of here. So don't try and show off for people, bro. You're not in like Monaco. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't need to have the drippiest outfit. You don't need to have the best jewelry, the best cars, bro. Trust me. This is if you are living in Monaco, I can see if you feel insecure of like what kind of whip you have. Or let's say you're like in one of these cities like you're in Miami, you're in South Beach, living off Brickell. Yeah, you might get insecure. You know what I'm saying? But if you move there, you should already know what comes with the territory. If you don't think it's the best place from you don't want to feel out of place, man, move to Fort Lauderdale and drive into Miami if you work there. Live in Fort Lauderdale where there's less of that bling that's going to make you kind of feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Some people can't handle it. Sometimes you got to know exactly what kind of triggers you. You know what I'm saying? Because you might have the ability, you have the ability to step on the gas and really go get it. But to what end is it for you? You know what I'm saying? Because there's always choices and trade-offs. There's always positives and negatives to everything. You start pushing Lamborghini Urus and got an AP watch. You know what I'm saying? And a nice, blinged out platinum chain. You know what I'm saying? Then now you're going to be attracting a certain type of energy, certain kind of woman that you may not even really be into. There's a lot of people on social media that present themselves in a certain way, and that's not how they really are, and they know it. It's just the peer pressure is making them be that way. But they're really completely different. They're really different. They really just want to just chill. They really just want to do regular stuff. You know what I'm saying? But they're under peer pressure to keep up an image that really is not for them. That's how people get peer pressured into starting to get into drugs and other things, because they just want to fit in. So if you stay true to yourself, you will not give into those type of things because you know who you are. If you're a guy that doesn't drink, you don't drink. If you're a guy that doesn't smoke, you don't smoke. If you're a guy that doesn't like going to clubs, you don't go to clubs. You're just a certain type of person. Everybody is kind of following after what they think is right, even when it comes to clothes, man. Like I'm seeing people bringing back super baggy pants and clothes and stuff like that, in fashion, and they switching up like how they dressing and going back to that. But see them 7 years ago, they wasn't in that, and that stuff was around. Different companies were still making baggy stuff. It's funny because I remember I was going to a Shipley's Donut here in Houston, and it happened to be one that was open late, till the evening. So I just having to stop by. Let me just go grab something, grab a couple of donuts and a coffee, just midday. Um, and the kids, there was like a high school, and the high school's literally right across from the Shipley. So sometimes the students go there and kick it there. And the clothes that I seen some of the kids wearing, they were like wearing JNCOs. Man, I remember when JNCOs, the baggy pants that came out of Japan, I remember when JNCOs was popular like in the mid 90s, mid to late 90s. Kind of started falling off like in the late 90s. But it was big like around like 94, 95, at least in Texas. Especially amongst like Hispanics and like, you know, white kids. Basically, mainly like non-black kids, I'll put it like that. Although there was a couple of black kids that did wear JNCOs, but they picked it with them. And so it was a point where it got fairly popular, especially if you got into the import car scene. Even if you got into the import car scene, it was like a big, you know, that was like one of the styles. It's kind of like Japanese streetwear, you know what I mean? So I've seen people kind of get back on that, and I've seen some kids wearing some JNCOs. And it reminded me of just being in middle school and high school all over again, where people would just switch their style based off of, you know, what's trending at the time. And I've even seen grown men switch up their whole style. Man, we saw grown men go from like relaxed, loose jeans to skinny jeans because they wanted to fit in. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, I'm telling you right now, like, there's a subset of women that they want to be with the guy that's wearing the latest drip. But I'm telling you, the real woman that you really want to be with is a woman that likes how you are. I'm telling you, bro. Like, I'm telling you, there's girls out there, there's a guy that they meet, and he just wears nothing but Nike Tech, and they like him. He wears Nike Tech and Air Forces or Air Max 95s. You know, half the time, that's what he's rocking, especially during the winter time. He just got different colors. He wearing a hoodie like this. He might wear some hoodies and some joggers and some Adidas shell toes. But because that's how she met him and how she liked him, it just makes her feel some type of way when he's just being himself. So whenever some new fashion trend comes, she's not concerned with him wearing that. She like him being himself. There's, you know, and we got to remember that, man. A lot of times we might make some decisions because we're trying to attract a particular type of woman. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just like Mercedes. Mercedes is like always been I don't think Mercedes will ever, you know what I'm saying? And Mercedes will never be a vehicle that is not highly sought after. And it's always a vehicle that symbolizes success. This is global, bro. If you've been around the world, if you've been to multiple continents, you know, South America is a little bit different because I don't think they have that kind of money to afford like Mercedes. You know what I'm saying? At least in most of their countries, there's not that. Even their elites probably do drive it, but it's not aspirational probably for a lot of people in their countries anyway. Even if they come into money, they probably would. A lot of them, they might like a Lexus or something like that. But if you go around the world, having a Mercedes symbolizes success. And if you know about auto manufacturers, especially the German ones like your BMWs, your Audis, your Mercedes, their cars drop in value very fast. So you can go get like a 2021 of a vehicle that was like $100,000 for like $45,000 because it's off warranty, and it's going to be tough to maintain, expensive to maintain. And a lot of these are just people that had leases, and the lease ends and they take it back to the dealership or they trade it in. And then now you can get one of these vehicles to make yourself look prestigious. But when you start having to deal with maintaining the vehicle, do you have the bread to maintain that vehicle? Because it's not going to be like maintaining an American or a Japanese vehicle. It's going to be like twice the cost, especially after the warranty gets out. Unless you know a very good shop that can make it reasonable. And the drivetrain, sometimes some of these drivetrains of these German vehicles are hit or miss. But if you're just doing it just to show off, you thinking it's going to help you pull a particular type of female, but the chick that you probably want is probably what you drive like you could pull her in an older Malibu, bruh. You could pull in one of these Malibus that came out a few years back. And you might not think you can. You might not think you can get a woman that's going to be interested in you if you're just driving something regular. You're pushing a Toyota Camry or a Honda Accord. But she don't even care about cars, bro. There's girls out there that are finer than a mug, and they don't really care about cars. Cars don't really like interest them like that. They don't care if you just Uber money. If you just live somewhere and you just say we're Ubering, or you just got a regular car, they don't care. They might. So you got girls that don't care what kind of car they man drive, but they might care about how he dress. Like they might want a fashionable guy, but what car he drive, it don't matter. Sometimes these girls might not care about him being super fashionable or what kind of car he drives, but they might want him to be like in very good shape. They might like guys that go to the gym, that work out, that eat healthy, because you got a lot of girls that are like that, especially girls that are into fitness. So they only want to be with other guys that are into fitness. You know what I'm saying? But they don't care that he drives like, a Nissan Sentra to the gym. That don't bother them. You know what I'm saying? They don't care that all he wears is pretty much, 6 days out the week gym clothes, and he might only when they go out to somewhere more formal, he dresses up. But the other 6 days he's in gym clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to understand, this is why it's importance of being yourself and not trying to keep up with the Joneses. I'm telling you, bro. Like, I'm telling you. I mean, I lived long enough to know that I seen some stuff, man. I done seen some woman so fine and they working, picking it, bro. I done seen chicks, bro, bad. Man, they working, they picking up overtime shifts, and they man don't even make half the money. But they just wanna build with this guy so bad. You know what I'm saying? And when they at work, they ain't talking to nobody. You know what I'm saying? When they at work, they are straight professional. Like they give you that look like, don't even think you can holler at me. I'm happy at home. They got that look. They got that look in their face, like straight professional. You know what I'm saying? Because they got a man to go back to. And he ain't making a lot of money. But they making her do what her do because she just like him that much. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of what motivates men to get things is really that. That's why they had something called a bachelor pad. If you really look at it, if a man has no desire, if he's like straight monk mode and he has no desire to actually ever be intimate with a woman for the rest of his life, you see how simplified that man's life will be. Man, he'll go get himself an old 4Runner, mod it the way he like, make it a camper, go get him a dog, go get him a 1-bedroom spot, watch his movies, documentaries, do his hobbies, go to the gym. Maybe he want to, stay sharp. He want to do boxing, MMA, and that's what kind of makes him kind of feel excited about life. Go and maybe do some traveling here and there, some sightseeing, go and visit friends, relatives, and then that's it. But he ain't going to be trying to do all this extra stuff, because a lot of times men do things to attract women, man, or to keep women happy. And you don't even understand, you don't need to do most of that stuff, bro. So it's like I said, man, don't be listening to these guys, man. Even from the Kevin Samuels era, when he was talking about being a high-value man, that stuff actually died after that. Because men started looking even deeper into the conversation. And then you realize, you start looking at these women and who their exes were, and you're like, wait, hold on. Her ex was driving her car. Her ex was driving her car, but you trying to impress her. You know what I'm saying? You didn't even realize how her last situation really was. You know what I'm saying? So even just for you as a man, you just got to focus on being able to take care of yourself and have like an actual direction to build upon that. You know what I'm saying? If and just kind of keep yourself in a mellow level, man. Don't try and go out of your way, because a lot of times people will try and make you feel like you don't have enough or that you need to do better. Really examine yourself and really critique yourself the right way, and know whether or not you do need to be better for yourself in certain areas. Like, don't be out there riding a bucket and you can afford to get better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all my, anybody that I'm friends with or even cool with, coworker, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? If I see them riding a bucket, You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be like, I'm going to try and help. I'm going to try and advise them or see why, if I can help them get something better. Because transportation is a mother, bro, especially in certain cities like Houston. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times like, man, this guy has that bucket. That bucket can leave me stranded. You know what I'm saying? So I might be like, yo, what's your situation? And he might be good financially, but he might just be like, oh, it's an A to B car. I said, cool, it's an A to B car, but I'm telling you, I know these type of cars right here, that's gonna do you bad, bro. You're gonna be stranded one day with that one. Oh, I don't think about that. But this guy living home with his parents. This guy don't got no crazy bills he gotta pay. He working full time. I'm like, bro, at least upgrade to something that's gonna, be a little bit more reliable. You know what I'm saying? And then when he does it, he'll thank me. He'll thank me later. He's like, man, thanks for letting me, telling me about this vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for letting me know, man. I'm I ain't had no problems. You know what I'm saying? I was having to fix that stuff every 3 months. The other one, and it was actually more expensive for me to maintain it than for me to just go get something better that's more reliable. So yeah, you got certain things where you got to help brothers improve their situation, and that's all good. It's all gravy. You know what I'm saying? So just let me know what you think in the comments, man. Just wanted to kind of keep it brief, with this. But like, share, and subscribe, and let me know what you think. And I'll catch you in the next episode.